All right, ready.
Okay, so I've shared with you all of these phases. We went through the wonder phase. I wonder what we're going to experience when we get into this world. Went through the learning phase, all of the information that we pick up to form the identity of who we think we're supposed to be in the world so that we can do life right. The control phase, where we begin to control circumstances, to try and make things happen the way that we think they should so that we can be a success, so that we can be somebody. And when, of course, we can't do that because you can't control life, there is nothing that we actually can control. The beautiful thing is that when we get too big for our britches, life lets us know, okay, that thing that you were so attached to, we're going to pull that and take that out from under you. People will go through bankruptcies. People will go through divorces, the death of parents, which was the case for me, the death of a child, cancer, all kinds of things will begin to happen that will help us see how little, no control actually we have over life. When my mother died, that's when I began to recognize that I couldn't control things. I couldn't stop her from dying. That's when I began to realize that I thought I knew everything, that I thought I was the boss of the world. And that's when I had to get curious. There has to be something else, because the pain that I was experiencing and that grief of losing my mother was so unbearable that I moved into curiosity to find my joy again. Of course, when I stepped into curiosity and I went down that spiritual path, I had to go through the unlearning phase. The unlearning phase had me question every belief that I had that said that I was just a finite being, that I was just Lina, that I was just this body, that I was my money, that I was my relationships, that I was what my children did, that somehow I was based on what everything outside of me determined my worth to be. So as I went through that unlearning phase, many people call this a dark night of the soul. Well, let me tell you, it's not a dark night of the soul because it's many dark years of the ego. We're literally undoing the identity that gets created that covers up what we really are. As you begin to move through the undoing of your beliefs, the I'm not good enough, the I'm not smart enough, the I'm temporary, I am, this status, that status. I had to let go of the religion that I thought. I had to let go of my political affiliation because it was based on fear. If my candidate didn't win, oh my gosh, it rocked my world. I had to let go of that. I had to go to the place of love to ask, what's the most loving thing for me? I'll pick this one or I'll pick that one at the next election. So I have this much money or that much money. It doesn't determine how I feel inside, because the process of undoing your ego's identity is the process of letting go of everything that actually limited you. Everything that limited me was what formed my ego's story. Undoing that story, that's when we begin to enter into the final phase. The final phase is the wisdom phase. This is where you now can ascend your perspective to the perspective of the Creator. What does God think about this? What does Source, what does the universe think about this? From the perspective of the universe, nothing's ever wrong. Notice how the weather just keeps doing what it's doing. Notice how the seasons keep happening one after the other. No matter how many skyscrapers we build, no matter how many bankruptcies anybody has, no matter how many divorces happen, no matter how many deaths, the universe keeps going. Nature just keeps unfolding itself. So when you come to the place that you really begin to wonder, this infinite Creator has created everything so perfectly. Why am I suffering so much? If I am on this beautiful playground, why am I suffering so much? In the wisdom phase, you begin to want to give up thinking for yourself. You want to begin to listen to the guidance of that source inside of you. You really, truly begin to listen to your soul. There is a higher knowing. And you know you're in that space when now things outside of you will move. They'll go out of your control and you just say, well, isn't that interesting? Oh, somebody loves me. Isn't that interesting? Oh, they don't like me anymore. They just left me. Well, isn't that interesting? When you are in that wisdom phase, you are literally in that sense of wonder, that childlike wonder sense again, where you truly realize that anything that you decide to make solid, to make it important, to make it be what defines you, what gives you joy, you're literally going to be attached to it. And when it moves, it's going to yank you. You're going to feel very uncomfortable. You're going to lose your foundation. So when you have the wisdom and you stay in a state of wonder, you literally make peace with everything. Everything is what it is. You don't come to it with your own opinion about it. You learn what it is from it. You let it inform you. This has allowed me to meet people without having to have my understanding of them be superimposed, so that I already define them before I even get to know them. When you move into wisdom, your heart opens up because you're defenseless, you're fearless, you're not concerned about what other people think, as we did when we were in our ego identity, where what they thought was more important than me. From this place, we get really present to how our body feels. If I'm tight and tense, I know I've got an ego story going on. I'm going into defensiveness. I'm going into protection. What do I need, to make sure that I protect so that they don't take something that makes me important? What do I need to go get so that I can become important? When you move to that place, that you drop the ego identity, that you drop your defenses, you become free to be whatever the heck you want to be. You're informed by an essence inside of you that is absolutely unstoppable. You're informed by an essence inside of you that doesn't hold anybody responsible for your happiness. That's the best part of all. You can be happy no matter where you are, because happiness is you. You can be peaceful no matter where you are. In the middle of a storm, in the middle of a tragedy, there's a sense of peace that allows you to be with what is. This is why we revere people like Martin Luther King Jr. or Gandhi. In the midst of their adversity, they were at peace. Where the heck did that peace come from when they were in such confined spaces? It came because they knew that there was something greater inside of them calling them to express itself, calling them to be the presence of love, calling them to be the presence of peace. And the beautiful thing is that when you are in that space, unlike in the ego story, where the ego is all about what can I get, the ego is all about me, when you're operating from that sense of peace, it's all about we. It's what can I bring that elevates all of us. See, our ego is all about who do I need to take down for me to be on top. Our soul is about who can I take with me, because I don't want to be the only one on top. It's a lot more fun when we go up as a community. So our soul is knowing what we're made of. When we live from our soul, when we're in that space of wisdom, is knowing that not only am I the energy of love, but so is everybody else. And the cool thing is that when you realize that your soul is energy and so is everybody else, you will have compassion for the ones who have forgotten. You will have so much compassion for those who are inside their stories, who are inside of fear. And you will be able to stand as the example that can help lift them out. Or you begin to be the presence of peace that lets them be where they are, so that they can feel accepted by somebody when they don't accept themselves. So these are the phases that we all go through from conception to enlightenment. Our soul is going to go on a journey. It's going to take you, it took me, it takes everybody. We enter into the world, we forget that we are non-physical, we get focused on these bodies, and then that sense of wonder that we have as children doesn't take us very long to forget that, because we become conditioned very quickly to follow the rules, to do things the right way, to avoid the punishment. We begin to learn that we are a finite being. We begin to experience life from a place of fear. We know that it's all about, living in a state of getting or protecting. It sends us into the control phase, where literally everything that we have now begins to control us, because we don't have freedom if we're not keep maintaining those things. Fortunately, we're all going to get hit by that divine 2x4, and we are going to enter the curiosity phase. We're going to begin to wake up. We're going to begin to want to see things in a different way. We're going to get curious about there has to be another way for me to experience life. I remember when I was a little kid and things were so easy. Why are they so hard now? That curiosity, if you take it far enough, will move you into the place of unlearning, will move you into the place of letting go of the very small idea that you have about who you are. We need to begin to embrace the magnificence that is inside of us. And we cannot hold that magnificence while we believe that we're not good enough, that we're unworthy, that that there's something wrong with us. As long as we hold on to anything that limits us, the unlimited essence that we are cannot come forth. And guess what? If you're not fully self-expressed, life is going to be pretty dreary. Life is going to be hard. But when you become self-expressed, life gets fun and easy. It begins to be a joyful playground. That's what the wise ones know. That's why the wise ones are always smiling. They don't have a whole lot to say, but they smile a lot. How can that be? Because they don't have to control anything. They don't have to tell anybody what to do. They're just sitting there observing. I wonder what's going on in the mind of that one. Isn't that interesting? This one has everything that they've worked for, everything that they wanted, and look how much they suffer. The wise ones know that if you want to be happy, you need to give up all of the reasons why you have decided to be unhappy. The wise ones know that what we are is eternal, so quit worrying about dying, quit worrying about not having enough time, and begin to enjoy the time that you have. The wise ones know that love is who we are. Love is what we came here to bring. The wise ones know that to enjoy life fully, they must live fully. They must love fully. They must claim their magnificence, their wholeness, and they must believe that that is true.